Welcome to Our Region's Business with your host, Bill Flanagan.
Today on Our Region's Business, a century of goodwill in our region, plus an investment in better health care for kids. But first, the latest on United States Steel's scramble to repair the Clairton Coke Works after a devastating fire on Christmas Eve, undoing months of progress in reducing emissions and marring what otherwise might have been a pretty good time for the Pittsburgh-based company and the steel industry in general. David Burritt is president and CEO of U.S. Steel, and he's here with us today. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
A lot of attention here in our region, obviously, to what's been going on down at the Clairton Coke Works since the fire on Christmas. So how is it coming along? How are you going with the repairs?
It's going better.
Okay.
You know, when you think about what we sustained there on Christmas Eve, it was horrific. And thanks to the hard efforts of our firefighters that are on site and also first responders, the good news is that nobody was injured through any of this. But we're working really hard to make sure that we get things remediated and making sure we return to normal operations. And the really great news right now is we're even going to finish it a full month earlier than we thought was possible.
So you've been talking later in the spring that it would
get done.
That's right.
So by mid-April, we believe we're going to be up and running with normal operations, and that's really good news. But a lot of hard work from a lot of people and a lot of cooperation that we're having through the community and understanding. And it's been really, really hard on a lot of people. But I can tell you, our supply chain, the people that build the equipment to put it back in place, have done an outstanding job. The steel workers have been incredibly supportive, and the trade unions who've basically removed obstacles to help us get these things done faster. I just can't be more proud of the people, how they come together to make this thing work. You know, the reality is sometimes bad things happen to good companies, but you learn a lot about the company by how well they respond to the bad situation. So I'm pleased with how fast we're responding, but we need to do more, and we're working hard every day to do better.
Yeah, well, this is really a big deal. People hear a fire in the control room and you think one thing, but the scale of what you've had to repair is...
Bill, you're so right, because you do think of a control room as kind of like the size of a pulpit, but this is the size of a football field.
Wow.
And so when you think about the damage that was done and happened on December 24th, in order to get into the facility safely, it took till January 8th. And the people have been working tirelessly since then to make it right and to get back to normal operations.
So you get it done, you get it back online, it's back operating the way it's supposed to. Then what's next for Clairton and really for U.S. Steel in the Mon Valley?
Well, you know, we continue to invest in the facility, and we continue to invest in Mon Valley. You know, it supports Allegheny County, 4,000 jobs in the area, and at Mon Valley, 3,000 jobs. The other thing to remember is that this business supports the supply chain, the contractors, the small business, some $3 billion that we spend a year. And actually, right at Clairton, we spend over $100 million a year just on in the environment. So we're going to continue to run this thing and run it well. And the reality is, I'd really like to be able to invest more, upgrade our facilities more, and when we can get this thing behind us, you know, I just say you ain't seen nothing yet, because we can do better for our community, for our employees, and for our investors.
$3 billion, though? That's
every
the spend
year
by U.S. Steel here in our region.
And we have, you know, there's the $300 million that we get from the coal suppliers just here in Pennsylvania. So it's a big deal, the amount that we support within this community. And again, my hat goes off again to the employees, the steel workers, the tradesmen. They've been a fantastic team, and I think the community's coming along and understanding just how difficult a challenge this is, and we're going to make it right.
Before this happened, things have been going pretty good for not just your company, for the steel industry in general, have they not?
Yeah, it feels like a steel renaissance, frankly, and we've made some good improvements in the business, but we've had some help in that there's this trade war that we've been in for over 30 years. We're now in a situation where we have more fairly traded steel. And so to the extent that people understand that we have to have steel because it's vital to national security, this makes a lot of sense, because if you don't have steel, you really don't have a country. You don't have steel, you can't make things, you can't manufacture things. And if you outsource this to other countries, particularly bad actors that don't really appreciate the United States style of living or the way we operate, it could be very very bad for the future of this country. So we have to make sure that we always have a strong steel company here, and I'd like to keep that right here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, clearly it's the tougher stance on trade has been great for the steel industry and U.S. Steel. But what do you say to your customers? Doesn't it drive their price up? If I'm making appliances or I'm making cars, what could be great for you may not be as great for them.
When you see numbers that are quoted, you realize these companies that we serve, they actually, it's a fraction of their total cost. For example, on an automobile, cost of a car, say $30,000, the cost of the steel in that is only $1,000. So sometimes you'll hear there's $1 billion worth of increase in input for a company, and then you say, well, what's your total spend? And it's like $112, $115, $120 billion a year. So it's really a fraction of the total spend for that. It's more technology that they're having in terms of the cost. But we of course adore our customers. We're right with them, trying to make this advanced, high-strength, light-weighted steel that's safer and better for the environment and more formable and the next generation. And that's when our company is healthy, we can invest for the future. We can invest in innovation, and we can do the things with data analytics that make for a safer environment, a more efficient company, a more effective company.
So I have about a minute left in this segment, but I wonder, the prices get firmer, there's more stability, you start to invest, you start to ramp up, but then so do your competitors. Maybe somebody builds a mini mill here, maybe somebody adds to capacity there. How confident are you that there's going to be a price that makes all of this continue?
We enjoy competition. May the best steel company win. But we need to make sure we have the level playing field. And now that the imports are at more of a fair level, is not quite there yet, but if people play by the same rules, we don't fear the competition. We have the opportunity to invest like they do. We have the opportunity to make improvements. We are an integrated steel mill. We have great mine sites in Minnesota. We have an excellent coke making facility when it's running properly, and this gives us a competitive advantage for the way we serve our customers and the way we develop our products. So we don't fear the competition. We respect them. They're very, very good, but this is what makes for a healthy environment, when you have a level playing field and you can compete on that level playing field.
Okay, when we come back, I want to talk about the other aspect of all of this, and that's how real and how long lasting is this current trade position by the federal government. So we'll be back with David Burritt of U.S. Steel right after this. Please stay with us.